Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Twist Gaming. We are here live at Origins 2019, bringing you all of the best board game coverage all convention long. I am bringing you a front row seat to Genius Games. I have my guest Paul with me here today. Paul, thank you so much for taking the time to come and join us on the show. We absolutely love your games. Genius Games, the games that you do are all founded in science and real facts and the things that us giant nerds really love. And you guys have brought us yet another super sciencey nerdy game.
Correct.
So tell me what you brought, Paul.
So this is Periodic, a game of the elements. It's a strategic, tactical movement, action economy game taking place right on the periodic table. And it's built out of, as you said, all the accurate science going on here. As players play, they're balancing a couple of goals. One is discovering certain sets of elements, like the elements in LEDs or the highly toxic metals.
So is that what this one is?
Exactly. That's the radiotherapy. So you can see when that's on the board, you'll have 2 or 3 elements that are discoverable on the board, and they're marked by these tokens here. Players will be moving their flasks around to try to land on those places to place their tokens here. Once a player completes 3 of them, they get the card, which is worth some points, and they'll also get these bonus power tokens that'll let them take extra actions or get extra energy, etc. That one lets you move to one of those groups, which is a big, powerful jump in the game. The way you actually play the game is by either on your turn picking up energy from this bottom row, and then activating that one trend and moving up to 5 spaces in that direction. So if you took off this from atomic number, this player could increase their atomic number by up to 5, going from 3 to 4, over to 5, 6, etc. Or they could decrease, which would actually let them wrap around the board. So they could go from 3 over to 2, and maybe stop if they want. The other type of turn you can take is putting energy down on the board. And you could perhaps activate multiple trends. So the first one would cost you 1, and you could move in that direction up to 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finishing the movement there would let me place on, let's see what that is, fluorine. And then I could pay 2 for any subsequent actions. So I could say, go to increase my atomic radius 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop there, and I could put 1 down on, say, that purple arsenic there. And I could continue doing that as much as I want, trying to complete these sets. If you don't, these are public and everybody can get to them, so if I finish it and you are just sitting there, you'll get some consolation points, 3 for 1 cube, 5 for 2.
A little flask, I don't know if that's going to do so. Can you do the Twist exclusive flask? Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, that you can see there's some fancy gas in that one.
So that's nice that even though the first player is going to get the points and complete the goal, you're not shutting out the other players. It's not too aggressive.
That's right. And you actually get a nice point incentive for spreading yourself out on all the cards as they complete. Which is nice. The other way that you can score points in the game is by advancing your research on the academic track here. Players will start their little microscope meeple.
This is very cute.
On one of these groups here, which is where they'll start the game, and then they can look in there. They can advance around this track, which is a big loop. So, for example, if they were here in alkali metals, they'd want to finish in the alkaline earth metals. Why don't you show that?
Sure.
We can see where that is. That's this orange region here. So if they end their turn, if the pink player can end their turn in that space, their whole turn, then they'll go to the next spot on this loop around the board and advance their token here, which gets them some points and could trigger the end game here.
And that increases it quickly exponentially.
Yeah, it's not quite exponential, but it's jumps of 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Players will also have an agenda card, which will give them some private goals that they may want to do.
And this particular agenda, explain to me what this does, Paul.
So that one is going to give you 5 points for each pair of the blue and purple cards that we're trying to complete. These ones here at the top of the board. So if they have a pair of those, they'll get 5 points. They might want to focus their game on those sets of elements.
Those ones,
And then in addition, they get 9 points for each set of 3 goal cards of different types. So if they had a green, a blue, and a red, they could complete that as well.
Very cool.
So that sort of gives players a direction as they play the game. Some of them might give you additional incentives to go up the academic track. Some will focus on these groups.
And this is all founded in the science, in the periodic table of elements. So as you're playing, you're getting to learn more about the periodic table of the elements.
I mean, I've learned a ton about this board and this table from playing this game.
And on top of that, not only, I mean, to cement that, you guys also have a pamphlet, essentially.
Quite right. A lot of the new games here with Genius Games come with a science behind the game booklet, which is all outsourced to real scientists, and they do the work to explain what's going on in the game. So that's true for cytosis, that's true for periodic, that's true for subatomic, and that will be true for upcoming games like Genotype, which is probably going to hit Kickstarter in a couple months.
Very cool. Now, usually you guys have one designer.
That's true. John Covey, the founder of Genius Games, has done all the games to this date.
And then you kicked him out.
Well, I didn't quite kick him out, but we did some work together on this one. I was doing some playtest work for previous games, and he invited me in on this project and also on Genotype, and it's been very fruitful. It has been positive.
What has been the most interesting thing for you as a designer about this game? I mean, you don't see many games that are science-based, so what was like a challenge or an interesting point in the creation of the game?
Yeah, it's funny because you would think designing games for science that are not like foolish trivia games would be hard because you have to stay true to the science. That part's a little easy because it says, no, you can't do that idea you have. It's not real.
Gotcha.
That part's easy. The hard part's working with John Covey. No, that is not true. The hard part has just been that there's so many directions you can take a game in when you design, and you don't necessarily know what's fun or what's going to be, engaging for young audiences or mass audiences. So,
speaking of that, who do you think that this game is targeted at?
It's 10 plus on the box age, but this is pretty medium to lightweight fare here. This is a family game, definitely for teachers and students. It teaches you a lot about accurate science, and it's a very delightful thing to play.
Fantastic. So if you are eager to get your hands on this game, when can people start to purchase it?
This one will be in retail July 22nd.
Okay.
All of our other games are in our booth right here at Origins.
And where are you here on the floor?
What's that number? 447.
Perfect.
447 in B.
Fantastic. This is not the only convention you guys are doing this year, obviously. So where can we catch you next?
We will be at Gen Con, certainly. PAX Unplugged. Essen Spiel.
Oh, have fun in Germany.
Yeah.
I'm
afraid I won't be there, but I'm sure my buddy John will.
It should be a lot of fun. And
sure.
Going to those conventions, I'm sure you guys might have some new games coming out.
Absolutely. We have a really interesting word game called Nerd Words coming soon.
Okay.
This is a game that all
You're not
of the
scribbling
words...
in the air.
You're not scribbling in the air on this
no.
one. Not a drawing game. Each of the words that you want your team to guess are science terms.
Okay.
And they have a description of that word, so even if you don't know what it is, you can play this game.
Okay.
Every clue you give starts with a letter from the word.
Okay.
And so players will start to get information about what that word might be. So if the word was, say, photosynthesis, can't use the first letter, but you might say stem to indicate plant, coming off of the S.
Okay. All right.
And as you get more and more clues, there's some gambling going on, risking certain amounts of points. It's a really fun game. Should be out soon.
Very, very cool. Anything else coming down the pipeline?
Well, we're working on Genotype, a Mendelian genetics game. This is going to be the next one. Probably go to Kickstarter in a couple of months. And this is using the real science of Punnett squares and pea plant genetics that Gregor Mendel studied when he was doing that work.
Yellow peas, green peas.
Yeah, this is sort of a dice drafting and manipulation game with some worker placement. We're demoing it now at our booth, and I think people are really going to like this one.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for showing us your new game. Guys, make sure that if you're here at the convention to stop by the Genius Games booth. If you're not, there's a bunch of really great opportunities to check out the stuff they have coming on. If they are not here at the convention, where can they go online to find out more about Genius Games and the games you have coming out?
GeniusGames.org is a good place to find it.
That's a pretty good guess.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Stick around for some great live board game coverage. We'll be right back.